Welcome to Eastern China, a diverse region shaped by its long coastline and some of the country's most dynamic cities. Here, ancient water towns and popular beaches contrast with modern skylines and intriguing hinterlands. Stretching for thousands of kilometers, this part of China offers travelers an eclectic mix of stunning landscapes, vibrant cities, traditional villages, incredible food, and welcoming people. I traveled to China independently for more than a decade on several occasions. And in this video, I take you back to some of my favorite journeys in the eastern part of the country. From the bustling streets of megacities like Shanghai and Guangzhou to the tropical shores of Hainan Island. From the peculiar Tulou buildings in Fujian and peaks of Huangshan to the beaches and seafood of Qingdao. From the fusion cities of Hong Kong and Macau to the tea gardens and lakes of Hangzhou. From the border city of Dandong to the historic urban centers of Nanjing and Suzhou. And from the friendly water town of Zhujiajiao to the modern streets of Shenzhen. So join me exploring Eastern China. We begin our journey in Dandong, a modest city defined in many ways by its location. Situated at the intersection of the Yalu River and Yellow Sea, this is China's largest border city and faces the North Korean town of Sinuiju. Connected by the historic China-North Korea Friendship Bridge, it offers travelers a rare glimpse across one of the world's most close borders. While there is little to see across the river, the contrast between Dandong's lively riverfront and the eerie quiet on the other side makes you contemplate. Outside the city, you can also visit the easternmost part of the Great Wall, with more views towards North Korea. We travel south and board a ferry from the city of Dalian towards Yantai in Shandong province. Although this friendly place can be explored for a few days, we use it mostly as a jumping off point to Qingdao, one of China's most famous coastal cities. Set on the shores of the Yellow Sea, with rolling green hills as backdrop, Qingdao's landscape is a feast for the eye. It is also a very popular travel destination, with many Chinese tourists coming here to visit the beaches and eat some of the best seafood in the country. But it was the German architecture that caught my eye when I first arrived here. German naval officers invaded Qingdao in the late 19th century and left their mark on the city, building railway lines, churches, villas, schools, and even a brewery. Qingdao is now one of China's largest beer producers. Perhaps the most striking landmark is St. Michael's Catholic Church. The church has a beautiful interior, but equally interesting is what often takes place on the outside. Soon-to-be married brides and grooms, wearing Western-style dresses, take orders from busy camera crews. The wedding industry is booming in China with a rising middle class, able to afford more extravagant festivities, including pre-wedding photo shoots. Like many cities in China, Qingdao is changing rapidly, and the contrasts become bigger as you move into the suburbs. Here you could see everything from disappearing neighborhoods and second-hand markets to wholesale companies and industrial centers. Many of these are in Huangshan, a district in Qingdao, that can be reached by crossing the massive Jiaozhou Bay Bridge, one of the longest in the world, spanning nearly 26 kilometers. Qingdao also has a modern city center, with an entirely different feel. It's only a short taxi or subway ride from the old town, but I suggest using the waterfront promenade, where you can walk through some beautiful areas of the city. We leave the coast behind and head inland for a brief visit to Zhujiayu, a quiet traditional village surrounded by gentle hills. With its stone houses, narrow lanes and centuries-old layout, it offers a glimpse of a slower, more rural China, far removed from the bustle of the coastal cities. We continue our way, crossing into Jiangsu province and arriving in Nanjing, a pleasant city known for its forested parks and lakes. The highlight for travelers here is the Sun Yat-sen Mausoleum, dedicated to Dr. Sun, a key political figure in modern Chinese history. As a revolutionary, he became the first president and founding father of the Republic of China, the leadership of which fled to Taiwan eventually. Almost paradoxically, he is celebrated as a pioneer of the revolution by the Communist Party. We also visit the moving memorial hall of the Nanjing massacre. This site remembers the victims of the Nanjing massacre, the mass murder of Chinese civilians by Japanese imperial forces in 1937. In just 6 weeks, an estimated 200,000 to 300,000 people were killed. Walking through the complex is a humbling and somber experience, and a stark reminder of the atrocities of war. We travel deeper into Jiangsu and the wider Yangtze Delta region and arrive in Suzhou. Historically a city attracting artists, scholars and writers, much of its classic culture has now disappeared, though there are still pockets of the old town to explore. That said, Suzhou is now mostly a modern city, with eye-catching skyscrapers and wide boulevards. We reach the actual coastline again, arriving in Shanghai, one of the country's most dynamic and fast-changing cities. Before reaching its center, we briefly explore the city's deep water port, the largest container terminal in the world. The constant flow of ships and cranes is a fascinating sight and also reflects some of the changes China has undergone. But it's in downtown Shanghai, where travelers find the city's most iconic face. Its skyline has become a symbol of the country's rapid transformation over the past decades. While there is plenty of glitz, glamour and commerce, Shanghai also reveals quieter sides, with historic architecture, peaceful parks and laid-back neighborhoods. Most visitors start their trip on the Bund, a waterfront promenade lined with former Western consulates and financial institutions. Many of these buildings are now home to restaurants, bars and fashion stores, forming a striking contrast with the modern skyline of Pudong, Shanghai's business district. Mostly farmland only 3 decades ago, this spectacle of skyscrapers has grown into a major financial hub, with observation decks offering sweeping views over the city. Deep in the commercial heart of Shanghai lies Nanjing Road, a pedestrian-only shopping street and a must-visit. If the crowds here become overwhelming, the nearby Ying'an temple might bring some relief, where you can join a Buddhist ceremony or simply escape the hustle and bustle from the streets. More traditional neighborhoods still exist, but you have to look closely to find them these days. Walking some of the narrow alleyways of this old Shanghai is an adventure on its own, and it's easy to get lost, both in time and place. This authentic Shanghai, however, is disappearing fast, as many buildings are torn down and replaced by apartment towers and shopping malls. It's the story of Shanghai, a city in constant flux, and who knows what it will look like in a few decades. With its brightly painted houses and classic stone bridges, it's easy to see why Zhujiajiao has become a popular day trip from Shanghai. While the main areas of the village can get busy, traditional ways of life continue to exist outside these streets. But it's fascinating to walk the quiet back alleys. Don't miss out on traditional snacks such as zongzi, rice dishes wrapped in bamboo, which are made fresh on the spot. We move slightly inland and arrive in Hangzhou, one of China's most visited cities. It's a sprawling industrial and commercial metropolis, and in recent years has also grown into a major technology and e-commerce hub. What attracts most people, however, is the mesmerizing West Lake. Celebrated by emperors and admired by poets, it carries an almost mythical reputation. It's truly a beautiful spot, with picturesque gardens, classic pagodas, and plenty of activities all day long. Make sure to venture into the surrounding hills to explore the Nanjing tea gardens, known for producing some of China's finest green tea. Just 2 hours from Hangzhou by train, on the border of central and eastern China, lies Huangshan, or Yellow Mountain. As one of China's most iconic national parks, its landscape of granite peaks and twisted pines is often shrouded in mist, adding to the mysterious atmosphere that has long inspired painters. Today, Huangshan attracts millions of visitors each year, all hoping to catch a glimpse of this characteristic mountain scenery. We continue our journey to Fujian, one of China's main coastal provinces, to explore the distinctive Tulou buildings, tucked away in remote mountain settlements. Built by the Hakka people, these structures once served as protection against bandits and rival communities. Usually between 2 and 5 stories tall, the Tulou are made from earth and clay and are a remarkable sight. While many still function as homes, some are now used as restaurants and hotels for tourists. We get closer to the sea again and arrive in Guangzhou, a fascinating city in the Pearl River Delta. It's a center for Cantonese culture and has grown into a major trading and business hub over the years. While skyscrapers dominate the skyline, Guangzhou also has a variety of neighborhoods with a more relaxed atmosphere. Downtown Guangzhou is filled with modern office towers, shopping malls and a massive football stadium, and forms the commercial heart of the city. But as you continue your way, you'll also meet the other faces of Guangzhou. The pedestrian-only Xiamen Island, for instance, is filled with historic mansions and villas. Also impressive is the Sacred Heart Cathedral, while the nearby riverside promenade is perfect for an evening stroll. And in the suburbs I found this traditional South Chinese garden called Baomo, with temples and classic bridges. But in the evenings, when the neon lights go on, Guangzhou is unmistakably a Chinese megacity again. We leave the contrasts of Guangzhou behind and arrive in Shenzhen, one of China's most unique modern cities. A fishing village just 40 years ago, Shenzhen has grown into one of the country's largest and wealthiest urban centers. It attracts business people, migrant workers and investors from around the country and the world, all chasing the Chinese economic dream. Shenzhen became a so-called special economic zone in 1980, an idea introduced by Deng Xiaoping, who led a series of market economy reforms that propelled the growth of China. Since then, Shenzhen has developed into the country's largest electronics manufacturing hub and a leading high-tech center. For travelers, Shenzhen may not offer a lot of must-see sights, yet there are plenty of parks, shopping centers and even a surprising theme park to explore. Overall, I found Shenzhen a young and dynamic place, where you can get a sense of China's urbanization and economic expansion of the past decades. From here it's only a short distance, across the water to Hong Kong, one of the world's most iconic coastal cities. Seen by many as a fusion between East and West, Hong Kong is a modern metropolis, but also a cultural powerhouse. It's easy to fall in love with the city at first sight, with its amazing skyline and backdrop of green mountains. But for many, this is only where the story begins. The city was under British rule for almost a century after the Opium Wars, a dark chapter in Chinese history. Over the years, Hong Kong developed into a flourishing society with its own identity and a range of civil freedoms. Since the handover to China in 1997, some of these freedoms have been challenged, sparking protests over Beijing's growing influence. One of the best ways to start exploring Hong Kong is from the spectacular Victoria Peak, offering a jaw-dropping panorama of the city below. You can reach the peak by taxi or on a steep hike, but most travelers use the historic Victoria Peak tram, a gravity-defying attraction that should not be missed. Another way to appreciate the city's skyline is to sail the classic Star Ferry across Victoria Harbour. For just a few Hong Kong dollars, it is one of the best value trips in the city. Hong Kong is easy to get around, with an efficient public transport system, including an extensive metro network, double-deck trams, and even helicopters for those who can afford it. For some travelers, Hong Kong is a shopper's paradise, and sometimes it feels like the city is one giant shopping mall, as many buildings are connected by air-conditioned walkways. Others come here for the Cantonese food, which is among the best in Asia. From high-end restaurants to street food markets and local eateries, there is something for everyone. For a different side of Hong Kong, head to some of the tranquil islands, or visit the big Buddha statue, set in a major Buddhist center in the mountains. But it's the streets of Kowloon and beyond that truly capture Hong Kong's spirit. This is the cultural heart of the city, where traditional neighborhoods meet bustling street markets. It can feel overwhelming in places, yet surprisingly calm in others. Visit the temples, browse the markets, sample local cuisine, or simply wander around and be surprised by this magnificent city. We board a fast ferry and sail towards Macau, a former Portuguese enclave that is known as the Las Vegas of the East. Its skyline is dominated by some of the world's largest casinos, and parts of the city have turned into massive entertainment centers. The reason for its popularity is simple. It's the only place in China where gambling is legal. But Macau also has another side, where its Portuguese influence is still visible in its architecture, food and culture. Despite the crowds of visitors here, it remains a fascinating place to spend a day or two. We finish our travels on the tropical island of Hainan, at the southern edge of China's coastline. Here we visit Sanya, which in many ways feels like a world away from the mainland. With its beautiful shoreline of long beaches and crystal clear waters, the island is often nicknamed as the Hawaii of China. Many tourists come here to relax and enjoy the luxuries of the hotel resorts and restaurants. Yet there is also plenty to explore in the surrounding area. From floating fishing villages and rugged coastal scenery, to the impressive Nanshan Temple Complex, home to the towering 108-meter high Guan Yin statue. That concludes my journey through Eastern China. I realize I have only scratched the surface, and you could spend months, if not years, discovering this vast region. Yet I still hope this video gave you some travel inspiration, or at least provided a glimpse into this fascinating part of the world. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and like. It really helps the channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Travel safely.